Hey everybody, on this episode of SAMP&CHANCE Boxing, we are going to go back to the Chisora fight that happened over the weekend. Also, we're going to preview the big card going down tomorrow night in Los Angeles. Terence Crawford making his return after an absence, 154. We're going to touch on that as well. The undercard is absolutely stellar as well, and controversy in the Olympics and boxing. All this and so much more on this episode of SAMP&CHANCE. So sit back, relax, and thank you for letting us into your ears. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of SAMP&CHANCE Boxing. It is Friday, not Thursday, and I'm here with my man, Mr. Pac-Man, Roger Federer, in the flesh, Mr. Chance Michaels. How are you, buddy?
Doing pretty good. Yourself?
Good, man. You look relaxed. Did you go somewhere?
Yeah, I went away for a few nights to Las
There you go.
Vegas. Hung out at
There
the
you go.
pool. Felt good.
Nice, nice. So yeah, guys, just so you know, this is why things have been a little bit delayed. My man needed a break. We gave him a break, and we're back at it. But you know what? I think this worked out really well, Mr. Michaels, Mr. Chance,
Yep.
because so much has happened in this week that we were able to cover.
Yeah.
Some of it old, a lot of it new, but why don't we get to the old first and get that right out of the way? Derek Chisora, Joe Joyce went down this past weekend in London. Your thoughts?
A fun fight. Fun fight. It's like two old drunk uncles at a barbecue just fighting in the backyard. Tough men. 38, Joey Joyce. Derek Chisora's 40 now.
Yeah.
They've been in so many wars. They're slow, they're sluggish. I mean, Derek Chisora's legs are gone. He could barely stand. He was hurt, he was rocked, but he didn't give up. He kept fighting. An absolute legend, a warrior. He was able to knock him down. I think it was round 9 or whatever it was. Put Joyce on the ground, and you'd figured Chisora would go out and win like that. Nope. Said he's got 2 more fights in him, and he will, because he's such an exciting guy to watch. He's a great guy. I'm happy for him. You look up the definition of a warrior in the dictionary, you're going to see that guy's picture, because he's just so tough. Not the most skilled guy, not the strongest guy, not the fastest guy, but he just doesn't stop. And you could see his legs are wobbly. He looked like a drunk uncle, and he just wouldn't go down. And it was a heck of a fight. One of the more entertaining fights you've seen. A lot more entertaining than that Shakur Stevenson stinker. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, no, I mean, overall, like I said, both guys were very lumbering, which surprised me. I expected that from Chisora, but Joy Joyce, in my opinion, had everything on the line. This was the fight. I mean, yeah, the toughness, the warrior mentality of Chisora is really hard to overcome. But you know what? Sometimes this is a prime example of where will and heart can take you further than skill, and that's what we saw here. And that's what I feel Joy Joyce was missing here, because this was his opportunity to get back into it,
Yeah.
and he's really fumbled the ball here now. I really don't know what he can do. Like, he says he's not done, but really at the end of the day, he's a shell of himself, man. Zhang took everything out of him. Like, there's nothing left in this guy. I don't know if he saw it the way I saw it. I just thought he would come out harder, he'd come out stronger, he'd have something to prove. And with all
these
due
guys
respect,
have been through, especially Chisora, they've been through so many wars. They don't have much left.
No,
I mean,
no,
I'm
no,
surprised. I thought Chisora was going to fall over. His legs were completely gone. I think he should go out on the note like this. Joyce, you got knocked down by Chisora. I think it's time for both of them to step away, but they won't.
But here's the thing, man. You look at Joseph Parker. He was in the exact same place that Joyce was, and he was over to overcome. You know what I mean? So you would figure this guy would find something potentially to kind of put himself over the top as well. But we didn't see that. I think that was probably the only disappointing aspect of that fight. I expected more from Joe. That's all I'm saying. I mean,
I didn't expect too much from the guy. He's big, he's slow, he's old. These guys are both punch drunk. I mean, they got to think about just preserving their health now.
Based on who he was facing, and that's not taking anything away from Derek, right? I mean, I agree with everything you say.
But Chisora's been in there with better quality fighters. He's been in more wars. He just, for some reason, just wouldn't fall over. He looked like he was going to fall over. How many times he got hurt?
Dude, I mean, that 8th round, I thought he was ready to fall over, right? I mean, for me, that was the biggest telltale. But congratulations, Derek Chisora. You deserve it, man. You want to fight? Keep fighting, brother, man. I'm not here to stop you. None of us are here to stop you. All right, brother, man. Why don't we get right into the monster card itself? We're going to have to break this up into a few rounds just to cover it all. Prince Turkey, he's done it again, taking it out of Saudi Arabia, bringing it to Los Angeles.
Good.
At least it's on the West Coast. It's
And it
close
was all
enough
over
to us.
Vegas. Everywhere I went, billboards, there's on some elevators. Like they're pumping this up everywhere. This is a big card. I hope
All
it
right.
does good numbers on pay-per-view. Now,
Let's
Terence
get into it,
Crawford's not a
man.
huge pay-per-view.
Let's work with the main event first. Let's get to that one right away. Let's get this started. Come on, Mr. Clock. Why aren't you starting for me? Hold on here, man. I'm having a problem with the clock here. I apologize. This is what happens when you're recording live, my friends. Give me a quick second. But why don't you tell us your thoughts on it anyways, man, as I get this thing set up here.
Well, Terence Crawford is stepping up in weight to fight Israel Madronov. He's a huge favorite, Terence Crawford, minus 950. That means to everybody that does not a bet. See, the reason why I bring up betting for most of the big fights is because it lets you know where this is at. And for the general public, gives you a rough idea how much better Crawford is than Israel Madronov. Or so the sharps say. Minus 950 favorite Terence Crawford, which means you got to put $950 on Terence Crawford to make $100. Nobody's going to do that. If you think Israel Madronov, who's had a great amateur career, he's 10-0, 7 KOs, he's never lost. Crawford is coming up in weight. There's only a few things that could stop Crawford. Going up too much in weight and father time. He is 36 now. Eventually, his reflexes will slow down. Maybe it won't be this fight, but it's coming. Crawford has never really been in a war, so he's still fresh, right? He's a young 36. He's not a huge pay-per-view draw. I don't think Israel Madronov is going to bring a lot of fans to watch this fight, but the undercard is so stacked, so this should be a good draw. But Crawford is going to box circles around this guy. I see Crawford getting him out of there round 9 or 10. Crawford breaking him out. He's just too skilled. Madronov has never tasted defeat, so he's going to be game. It should be a good fight. Crawford round 9, round 10, he stops him TKO. What do you got?
Yeah, okay. For me, I agree with you. I think this is Crawford's fight to lose, and the reason I say this, one, the ring rust. He hasn't fought in a long time. I don't care what anybody says. The move up in weight as well, 154, 7 pounds. That's a big. And
this guy's
jump.
7 years younger, I believe, too. So that helps.
Right. Yeah. Right. I think, like you said, Crawford, yes, all the way. Madronov has not fought anyone like this before. He has been the Terence Crawford in his fights against his competitors, but never been the guy who had to face someone who might have even more power and more skill set than him. The keys for Madronov to win here is basically hoping his ring rust is just that, that it's going to take a while for him to get going. The weight's going to be, an issue for him. That's basically all he can hope for and kind of build off of. I mean, really, at the end of the day, I think I heard someone say on the podcast as well. I mean, the only chance Madronov has in this matter is basically if he has bunions and corns on his feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and father time. Father time is going to get Crawford eventually. He's 36. Maybe it won't be this fight, but it might be. It might show up tomorrow.
No, I think it's going to end up eventually. But here's the interesting part of it is just like I think people are taking Madronov very lightly. He can't sit on this guy. This guy is
professional. 7 KOs.
Tough. This guy's tough. Yeah, he's only had 10 fights. And if you look at this card, a lot of guys are not, there's not a lot of
Don't forget,
fights.
Madronov is from Uzbekistan. They're tough over there. They're hard. They train hard.
So, Terence, his camp, his fans cannot take this man lightly. It could potentially end the other way.
Yeah.
I will say Crawford in 10. Referee stoppage. I think that's how that's going to go down. Okay. But in terms of everything else, again, this is Crawford's to lose. Before we start the next round, what I also find really interesting here is I almost feel, I don't know if you see it yet, Errol Spence and Terence Crawford are probably going to meet again at 154 here, because if he's fighting Fedora for those 2 belts, he's fighting Madronov for that belt. Those 3 belts already with those 2 guys again, which I almost feel that it's going to be set up for this.
The fight will never happen again because nobody wants to see it. Even though they'll step around it, they'll pay somebody off to step aside. They'll never see those 2 fight again because Terence whooped his butt. He's 36. By the time that fight happens, he's 37. Nobody wants to see it.
No. But don't be surprised if it does, my friend. I mean, that's all I'm saying.
I would say 2%. It won't happen. Crawford's going to go after this fight. Crawford will be fighting Canelo.
All right. Listen, why don't we get into the next round here? Let's cover the 2 heavyweight fights that are on this card. And ironically enough, there's 2 big babies fighting in the same night. Who's the real big baby? I guess we're going to find out tonight. Let's get into it, my man. Starting with Jared Big Baby Anderson against Martin Bakali from the UK. And a lot of people in the UK are under the assumption and the thought that this guy could actually beat Jared Anderson. And that's potential here. This is that kind of fight. Jared has to be really, really careful. I don't think he looked great in his last two fights. But overall, I think Jared has the bag and skill and ability. He's able to do things. I mean, they call him the new generation of heavyweights. I don't know how much of that is a pressure on his shoulders having that title. I know for a fact the guy, doesn't want to box forever. He's already talking about the exit plan before he even gets started. So I don't know if that's a good mindset to go in. But Bakal's no joke either, man. I mean, I guess the question I have for you is, if Bakal wins, is that considered an upset?
Absolutely, and I don't see McCall winning at all. Jared's 17-0. He's fighting a guy virtually unheard of in North America. They're slow walking him up the ranks. They want to build him to get him a title fight or get him a marquee fight. Jared Anderson's never fought a marquee heavyweight yet. They've just given him pretty much soup cans. However, for this fight, something that not many people are talking about, he's got a new trainer now. They brought in Sugar Hill Stewart to train him up, get him to the next level, start pressuring a little more, look a little more impressive, finish Martin Bakali off, and get, I don't know, fight a bigger name guy. You know what I mean? A Joseph Parker. I don't know, anybody. Somebody with some name recognition. Martin McCauley has no name recognition. I think with Sugar Hill Stewart, the great Emmanuel Stewart's nephew, training him now, it's going to push him a little more exciting, a little better defensively.
Fury's trainer?
Put the pedal to the metal. Martin McCauley is going down. I think Big Baby is going to go 18-0, and I think he's going to stop him by about round. I see him getting out of there in round 7. I think this is a big fight. This is a make or break fight for Jared Anderson. Well, I mean, if he loses, his career's not over. But the new trainer on this card, I see him going all out. I got Jared Big Baby going 18-0, knocking him out. We'll see. Anything can happen out here, right? Maybe the English are right, but I don't think they're right this time.
Well, I mean, the English style of fighting is very different. I don't think he's faced anyone like Bakal before either, to be completely honest. And I think coming in with less pressure and less name recognition allows you to be more comfortable in the ring. I think Jared's carrying all the pressure here. And, I think Jared will win. I don't think he's going to knock him out. I think he'll run the distance here. I think Jared Anderson via decision, but I won't be surprised if it goes the other way as well. But yeah, I mean, this is make or break for Jared Anderson here, man. I mean, he's still young, and it's weird to say this is his make or break fight, considering what we were just talking about with Joe Joyce, right? I mean, I think he can afford a loss here.
And I wouldn't kill him, but if he wants to keep stepping up and fight upper echelon fighters, get a bigger payday, which everybody wants, he has to look impressive in this fight.
Yeah, well, I mean, ultimately, I think, and as we go into the next round here, I think the guy who will fight him next, if he wins, is the winner of the next big baby fight, which we'll get into here in a moment. All right. So you know what? Let's just jump right into it, man. Okay, we got the next one here right away. We got Big Baby Miller against Andy Ruiz, man. Andy Ruiz has his last fight in 2022. He's been very inactive since Joshua. And that was against what's his name? The Ortiz. He looked okay in it.
Yeah, Luis Ortiz.
Luis Ortiz. He didn't look great. He didn't look great against Arreola either. The big question here is, how much rust does this guy have, not fighting in almost 2 years against a guy who just came off a loss against Daniel Dubois, who's just been resurgent. I mean, this is a big fight as well, man. I think this is a make or break fight for Andy Ruiz if he wants to do anything.
Andy Ruiz, we always say he's out of shape, he's fat, he doesn't train, doesn't eat properly. All those things are true. But for some reason, on the big stage, he shows up most of the time, and he upset Joshua. Here's the thing. In this fight, he's actually in better shape than Big Baby Miller, who weighs 300, who came in at 330 pounds. He's down in the weight now to make the fight. He is out of shape. He's been suspended for doping a couple times, Big Baby Miller.
Yeah.
He got an
absolute... Well, that cost him the Joshua fight.
Yeah, he's got an absolute beating against Dubois. He showed a lot of heart in that fight, but he got his butt kicked. Hard, heavy shots. Dubois finished him. How does he recover from the Dubois knockout? We don't know. We'll find out. This is, I think, the first fight Ruiz has ever had where he's in better shape than his opponent. To me, Andrew Ruiz is like a Kevin Owens. Doesn't stay in shape, looks like crap. It's hard to take him serious, but then once in a while, he'll beat a Joshua. This is a tough fight to call. I mean, because of the doping, all the times that he dopes, I don't trust Big Baby Miller in a big spot. I'm going to take Ruiz. I think this will go a decision, but I mean, Big Baby, you never know with this guy, right? But I don't know how. The question is, did he recover from his big knockout by Dubois? We're going to find out. But I got Ruiz taking this fight. But you never know with these guys because both these guys are out of shape. That's the problem. When you're a pro like this, you need to take your craft seriously. And when I see guys that look like that, like these guys and Kevin Owens, it's hard to take them serious, and it's hard to know what they're going to do. So I got Ruiz winning, but this could go either way. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Ruiz is going to win as well, but he has to be careful he doesn't, walk into many of those shots because I mean, Miller does hit hard,
Oh yeah,
and
big time.
Ruiz has shown that he doesn't have the strongest chin, right? So
Yeah,
I mean, it comes down to like how who's going to hit first. I mean, if Ruiz plays it right, if he does, uses his hands the way he knows, I think he's got the better hands. He's got the better footwork. He has to utilize those things and be careful not to walk into anything. I think ultimately that's what it comes down to. I think it comes down to the ring rust as well here for Ruiz, man. How long is it going to take for him to feel comfortable in there? 2 years is a long time out of the
but
ring.
to me, if Big Baby's that heavy, he's not training hard. I don't think he'll last. If you're going to come in like that, you're a pro. You look like a slob. You usually fight like a slob. Not always, but for the most part. So we'll see.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, brother, man. Before we get into the next round here, this card's sick, dude. Like I can't get over it. The more I'm looking at it, the more excited I'm getting for this, man. My only fear is it lets us down. Like it's a boring. You know what I mean? Like
maybe a couple fights will be. You got 7, at least 3 or 4 of them are going to hit. So I like the odds of that.
Well, let's get into the next round here, man. Isaac Cruz against Rayo Venezuela. Interesting fight. Rayo kind of jumping up into weight here. Pitbull making his first defense of his title since winning it against Rolly. What do you think of this fight, man?
Well, Pitbull is one of the most exciting fighters to watch. Bell to bell, nonstop action, just punching, coming forward, coming at you. Win, lose, or draw, he's action packed, right? I mean, Jose is 25 years old. He's a good puncher. It's not going to be a walk in the park for Pitbull. This guy's young too. He's a game fighter. But Pitbull is just so fun to watch. He just keeps coming forward. Even you're going to keep hitting him, he's going to keep coming forward. How can Venezuela back him down? How can he make him stop coming forward? You got to rock him. And Pitbull is probably one of the top 5 fighters to watch for action, at least. You know what I mean? Like he brings it, and he wants this fight, and I know Jose wants this fight. So I'm looking forward to this fight. This could be this fight could steal the show for action, at least. I don't know how to call this. I think Isaac will win, but it's not going to be an easy night. I think it might even go a decision because everybody's thinking knockout. It's almost too obvious. So I'm going to get a Pitbull Cruz via decision, but this could be a fight of the night.
Yeah, I mean, and this is where Pitbull can actually get in trouble in this fight because, like I said, man, he just keeps coming forward. Doesn't really keep his hands up as well as you would want him to. Doesn't really use his jab that much either. He just wants to come in and attack. That could benefit Rayo, but at the same time, how much punishment can Rayo take? I mean, you know what I mean? They don't call him Pitbull for nothing. I mean, is it going to be a fight where Rayo will have to take 2 to get 1 sort of a deal? And if that's the mentality, how long is he going to last? For me personally, I'm just kind of looking at Pitbull as the guy here to beat, man. Like Rayo, again, moving up in weight, I think it's going to be better for him overall. He's had a hard weight cut for his last 2 fights. So that being said and whatnot, I still say Pitbull walks away with this. It just seems too unbelievable if he doesn't. Right?
It's going to be fun. It's going to be action packed. I mean, eventually his style will catch up to him. Pitbull takes a lot of punishment to give a lot of punishment. And eventually, as you get older, your chin starts cracking, just like you're cracking away at a rock. Chisel, and eventually your chin starts to give. And maybe it'll be tomorrow night. I mean, I'm looking forward.
It all comes down. Will the weight affect him? Will the weight affect him in his cardio to allow Pitbull to come in the later rounds and kind of do that? But ultimately, when it's all said and done, I agree. I think I'm going to take Pitbull in 12. A ref's decision here. It just seems the most logical thing, but you never know, man. I mean,
who knows, man? Like I said, right? Something unexpected is going to happen for one of these heavy favorites. Is going to go down, get shocked. It's going to get rocked. You just don't know what's going to happen, and that's why you tune in. So we'll see what happens. But it should be a fun fight.
There you
definitely
go,
could
man.
be this. Definitely could steal the show.
It could definitely steal the show, man. And just in the way this card's kind of set up, you can't really miss any of it. I mean, it's just
this is one of the few boxing cards that I've ever seen in a long time that there's no fillers on here. Every main fighter, from Jared Anderson to David Morrell to Isaac Cruz to Crawford, they're all good fighters and well known. So there's no filler matches here.
No, there's no filler matches here at all, brother, man. All right, we got one more round here. Why don't we take off and check out David Morrell? Morel moving up into 175 as well. Here's my thing on David Morel. I thought he would be best suited to stay at 168 with David Benavidez moving up. He could have run that division, now kind of taking it over and grab some of those straps over there. But again, he's moving up to 175 as well. Do you think that's just a smart move or what not, man? Because I mean, if David looked like in super middleweight, both these guys look like, heavyweights fighting these
Mm.
guys, right? But when they moved up to weight, they looked like normal guys. So I don't know. I don't know if this is the best move for David Morrell right now, man. I mean, he's got so much he can accomplish at 168. Why go somewhere else where you're not going to get the shots?
Yes, everybody doesn't know David Morrell's fighting Radjovic Kaldazik.
Yeah.
So he has only lost one time. And who he lost, he got stopped by the one and only Beterbiev. So David Morrell has never fought competition like Kaldazik has.
Yeah.
So that definitely plays in his favor. But Morrell, honestly, if he was to fight Canelo now, he'd probably give him a run for his money.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's given Kaldazik a chance at all because, I mean, he got stopped by Beterbiev. Nobody really knows who he is. I mean, I got Morrell round 5 is going to put him down. Morrell is so good. Like but he needs to fight a marquee fighter. So I think he wants to finish this guy off, put him down, call out Canelo. Canelo will never fight him. He's too young. He's too big. He's too strong. Canelo wants big fights like Crawford, but this is Morrell's fight to show up, impress, show everybody what he can do. Kaldazik, he wants to show everybody, hey, Beterbiev was a lucky night. He put me down. This could change his career forever. If he could upset Morrell, it would change his life forever. He'd get money fights. I mean, they're trying to basically throw him a soup can almost to see what happens. But this is Morrell's night to shine. Yeah,
would it be? Would you
fight.
consider it an upset if he lost?
Oh, absolutely. If Morrell lost,
yeah,
upset of the night. Upset of the night. Yeah, absolutely. This is the Vegas has this ending in like round 4, round 5. I agree. I think round 5 was going to go down, but Kaldazik's a tough guy. He's just a tough fighter, man, and he's been in there with better competition than Morrell, but Morrell's starting his career. We'll see what happens. But I got Morrell round 5. He puts him out.
Okay, so ultimately, at the end of the day, I think we all agree Morrell is going to be the guy here to win here, right? But I mean, if he has a better performance and shows better at light heavyweight than David Benavidez, do you? I mean, they've already said that he's going to be next in line for the undisputed. But how do you think Sheik would change his mind? I would if he looks better.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to play out, but this is Morrell's night, man. He's going to come out. He needs to win this fight and start fighting some marquee fighters. He's never fought anybody of any name recognition. And as you're climbing up the ranks and you want to fight Canelos and you want to fight even better Biev and all these guys or Bivol or whoever you want to get at, you got to impress to get noticed. If you don't impress, you win a boring decision, then we'll just ignore you. So see what he can do.
Fair enough, man. All right, man. I mean, we've got most of that card under there, but what do you want? Do you want to talk about Andy Cruz a little bit? The Cuban, 29 years old, so they say, but some people think he might be in his mid 30s. Who knows, right? With the Cuban guys, 3-0 at 29, amazing amateur career. What do you take away from this, man? I mean, this is probably
as I said before, he's a Cuban fighter, and the thing, as talking about Uzbekistan, the thing with Cuba, it's a communist country. You are so hungry there. They train you hard. The Cuban team is great. Kaldaziek's from there too. You want to get off that island. The Cuban always has great boxers. You want to get off there. You don't want to live there. You don't want to live under the communist regime. You want to have freedom. So one of these, I find the Cuban guys always fight hard, whether they win, lose, or draw. He's an Olympic gold medalist. I mean, he's only 3-0, so his record's deceiving, but he's a prodigy. At 29, it's kind of hard to say that, but like this guy, he's got all the tools to be great. He could be up there, the Niue, Lomachenko, all these guys. He is that talented. Now he's got to come out there and finish off Antonio Moran, 26-1. So he's been in there way more times as a pro. We'll see what happens. But Andy Cruz, he's going to put a whooping on it.
No, Andy Cruz is the real deal, man. And he's training with Boots' dad, right? So I mean, Boots Ennis is his trainer. So I mean, he's teaching him some stuff as well. I mean, he's rounding out his game. I mean, this guy's great on the back foot. He's great moving forward as well. So I mean, he has no reason not to lose this fight in any way. Question is the lights. How's the atmosphere going to be? We have a sold out stadium.
Well, that won't phase him. He's Olympic gold medalist. He's from Cuba.
Oh, I know, but I mean,
and nobody really knows who he is.
Yeah.
Right. The mainstream doesn't know who he is. So for everybody else, like, who is this guy? 3-0. I can't be that great. And he's got amazing skill and top 15 fighter, not pound for pound, but skill wise.
Yeah.
We'll see what he does tomorrow night. We're pumping him up, and let's see what he's got. I'm looking
No, I'm
forward to it.
looking forward to it, man. I mean, I'm planning my day. I mean, we have SummerSlam on in the afternoon as well, but the way I'm planning my day is to do as much as I possibly can with the family, watch SummerSlam later on that night, but try to be home for this card. I don't want to miss this one live. But yeah. Hey, bro, there's so much more going on in the world. Quick shout out to Clarissa Shields, as she is now the female heavyweight champion. That's 2 weeks in a row. The Canadian girls took a beating. What can you say?
There was no need for Chris Shields to have that fight. It was a second round. She finished. Why even make that fight? It's not like she's beating top competition. You're throwing her soup cans. Good for her for doing that. Best female fighter probably in the world right now. But I just not this competition isn't as stiff as it is the males. I get that, but put up with somebody that's going to put up a bit of a fight.
Well, I mean, she was the heavyweight champion. What can you do? That was the girl who had the belt, right?
Yeah.
And it's rough. I mean, the girl. I mean, she tried her best, but still think you can do it. I don't care what anybody says. It was like that girl who fought last week on the Jake Paul card. What's her name? Serrano's opponent, the Canadian girl as well. I mean, both these girls,
that was a joke of a fight.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, both these Canadian girls are basically circuit fighters. You know what I mean? Like, it's just lights. Everything got to them at the end of the day. All right, Manny Pacquiao also fought on Saturday. A lot of people are criticizing the fight, saying that Manny didn't look that great. I just saw recently, before we came on the air, the WBC president is also saying that Manny looked lackluster at best. You're a Pacquiao guy, as you can see by the shirt right there, brother man. Your thoughts on the criticisms and whatnot?
I've seen Pacquiao fight live 5-6 times. Spent a lot of money traveling around to watch him fight. Yeah, he didn't look great. He's 45. I mean, but also don't forget he's fighting a guy who's 28, way taller than him.
A world champion. An active world champion.
I mean, obviously, if Pacquiao was 5 years younger, he would have whooped this guy. But the guy's the long reach, and did Pacquiao look explosive like the old Manny? No. There's moments where Pacquiao took a few heavy shots, and he fired back, third round especially.
Yeah.
It was exciting to watch. It was probably the best exhibition fight that I've seen, as far as you want to call it an exhibition. I mean, he didn't get knocked out. He didn't get hurt. Like, he felt some stiff punches. So did that guy.
Sure.
I mean, if Pacquiao wants to fight, the money's there. He'll fight. I mean,
he
didn't look great. No, I thought he would look a little better, but he's 45. And let's not forget, this guy has been in so many wars. People forget how small he is. He's only 5'6", 147 pounds. He fights guys who are 6 foot, 154 pounds, coming in at 160, 170, beating their butts. I mean, he took a lot of shots, made a lot of wars. And he says he just fights because he likes to train. Even when he's not fighting, he still trains like he's fighting. So I still think he'll fight. Whatever the WBC can say, whatever he wants. Somebody will make the fight if he wants it. But did he look great? No, absolutely not. He didn't look.
I like to share what I shared with you yesterday while we were talking on the phone. Like, I think after watching the fight, I'm like, I didn't look that great, but Manny did show us that he can still take shots and he can still dish them out, right? I think that was the thing. But something just kind of clicked in me yesterday, and I shared it with you. I like to share it again here if I can. It almost felt like Manny was fighting this particular guy because he looks very much, well, not facially, but body-wise, he has the same kind of body makeup as Mario Barrios.
Right, exactly why he picked that long, lanky opponent,
right?
Kind of like Barrios.
Almost just to see what he can do.
And honestly, if he fights Barrios and he does lose, Barrios is not going to knock him out. He might win a decision. He might sting Manny. Manny's not going to get knocked out by Mario Barrios.
Well, I think
5 years ago, Pacquiao would have had that guy down in 3-4 rounds.
I think on Saturday he faced harder punches than Barrios would give him.
Pacquiao said that was fun. I want a real fight. He wants to do it. Somebody will make it happen if he wants to do it.
Well, I mean, again,
did he look great? I hate saying it. He didn't look great. No, he's 45. He's been through a lot of work.
He's been out of the ring for a while as well, right? But like I said, I almost get a feeling that this was just an opportunity to get in the ring with someone that has some Barrios kind of build and kind of measure his distance, kind of measure his range, what he has to do to close it. That's kind of what I saw in that fight, really, at the end of it. I mean, it's more of a feeler fight because he said afterwards, I'm ready to fight now. Like, he knows, okay, now I know what I have to work on if I fight Mario Barrios, right?
And like I said, if we're gonna let Derek Chisora and Joyce fight, who's Pacquiao's only 4 years older than Chisora. So if you're gonna let him fight, you let Manny fight. He's a way more accomplished fighter than Derek. So if he wants to fight, let him fight. He gets knocked out. It's not going to hurt his legacy because he's one of the greatest ever.
Yeah, for sure.
Ali got knocked out too when he was old. So if he gets knocked out, that's up to him. But did he look amazing? No, he didn't.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. And that's honest, man. You're the Pac-Man. You
Yeah,
know
even
him better than
I mean,
anyone.
the people are thinking we're going to see Pac when he's 35, jumping around, cutting off angles, punching from weird angles, those big, huge calves. And like he's 45. When you're 45, you lose testosterone, you lose your pace. It just father time, right? But for
Yeah,
any 45-year-old, you beat the crap out of him. You know what I mean? So
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, man. It's time to get
yeah,
a little bit controversial here. I mean, this is a really, really weird one, man. And I'm being, my mind's made up one way, then all of a sudden I read something else, and my mind's made up. But I mean, ultimately, let's go to the Olympics here and the controversy there. Khalif from Algeria. There was the other one from Taipei,
yeah, it
Taiwan.
happened today.
And I don't know what to call this, man. This is weird because they're both saying they're girls and they're biological girls, but
But
the
they have those.
XY.
Here's the thing: they're saying that, but they're not. They have an extra male. They have the male chromosome in them, so they're going to say they're born that way. Well, even if you were, then you're a male. You
But
could have both chromosomes and still be considered a male. They have extra testosterone. The one girl lasted what 45
45
seconds.
seconds.
Yeah, it's a man beating up a woman. We were taught never hit a woman. So many people from De La Hoya, Logan Paul, you name it, it all come out saying this is pure evil. This is a disgrace. Somebody is going to die in that ring. These Olympics have been an absolute disgrace, an absolute joke. The Olympics used to be cherished and loved, not anymore. The opening ceremonies, they had a bunch of transgenders and people that were gay mocking the Last Supper of Jesus. So right away, they're mocking Christianity. Right away, this place is a joke. So what happens a couple of days later? You're letting men beat the crap out of women. Those women should have not even stepped in the ring and say, we're not fighting these. These are men. Now,
right,
I know what they're saying. They're born biological. We don't know if that's true.
but see, both these guys, both forget.
But
Sorry,
they're
I'm
still a
saying
man,
guys.
though. They
Right,
weren't allowed to
both.
fight in 2023, though.
I get you, but that's what I'm getting to. The IBF had suspended them because their levels were wrong, right? I mean,
Yeah,
their blood work came back saying that their gender
they're men.
wise, they
Yeah.
were men. So, but in the Olympics, all you have to show is your passport,
Mm.
and that defines your gender, and that lets you in.
Too
Here's the
bad.
problem I have: you had that Leah Thompson thing, coming out there and making all this ruckus and noise about not being able to compete at the Olympics. They were quick to get rid of her, which is fine. I have no problem with that. How can you let two men compete in combat sport on the biggest stage? Like Olympic boxing is huge, right? People tune into that. And now the Italian girl is saying, I'm sorry. She says that I have to apologize. I wish I wasn't, so quick to judge. Like,
There's a reason why we have men and women sports, especially in combat sports. It's scientifically proven, for the most part, generally speaking, men are stronger than women. That's why we have men's boxing and women's boxing. This isn't wrestling.
yeah.
We're fake. This is real.
But
Somebody is going to die in this ring.
what's
That girl could have got her head caved in and died. Then what's going to happen? They have the male chromosome. They're men. They shouldn't be fighting women. The Olympics have become a complete joke. When I seen the opening ceremony, the Olympics used to be loved. Everybody used to watch them and cheer them on. Now it's become so controversial. It's so politicized. It's a complete disgrace that you don't
right?
allow that. De La Hoya
But
is right. Logan
but
Paul's
it's
right.
yeah. But even those are some of the boxers like Sky Nichols came on saying like defending these two guys, and just saying that they are girls, they are biological
No, they're
girls.
not. They have the male
No,
chromosome.
no, no. I get it, but you're getting it from both sides this way. Oh, because they are with that, even though they were raised as girls, they, all this kind of stuff, they were treated like girls. They still have that, that chromosome difference, right?
Yeah, so they have the testosterone strength of a man. It's not fair.
Right. But then they're also claiming that these two, females have lost other females in boxing as well in their career. So I mean, that should shows you how bad they are if that's the case. But
Yeah,
what's the big issue here? Like, why can't anyone be straight? This is where I'm getting, kind of frustrated with the situation. Is because on one hand we see them as males, on the other hand, people see them as females. I mean, what's the line here? Do you have to take your pants down and show
because
them?
the new way is saying trans women are women, which is not true scientifically, but that's what they're trying to confuse people now and push on us. It's totally wrong.
But
95%
they're
of
saying they're
people.
not even trans.
No, I know they're saying they're born that way. 95% of people, anybody with any common sense in their head, who doesn't live with a tinfoil hat on and doesn't ride on the blue bus, knows that was wrong. Two men beating up women. You're not supposed to put your hands on women. Now they are normalizing men beating up women. It's a trend that's going to keep continuing. And Olympics, I can't wait to see the ratings, but they're not going to be top rated because they've been mocking religion and now they're pushing this crap. It's a total disgrace. There's no
I
need
think
for
they're
this.
going to get a bunch of lawsuits out of this too, man. Like, I mean, think about it. Let's go back to Leah Thompson here. I mean, the Olympics were adamant to not allow her to compete, right?
Mhm.
Because of everything with Riley Gaines and all of that stuff in college. So what about her now? She's going to say, well, wait a minute, you let them fight. You won't let me swim,
I know.
right? But she'll destroy everyone in there. Like, here's the thing I've been doing. I've been watching the Olympics and just the time. So I watched the men's 200 butterfly versus the
Mhm.
women's 200 butterfly. 11 to 12 seconds separate them,
A lot in swimming.
right? That's first place women's, last place men's.
Yep.
So
It's a disgrace, dude. Somebody's going to die in the ring, and then they'll stop it. But it's sad that that's what's going to take, because these people are out of control. They're kooks. Should
yeah,
never be
but
allowed.
but
It's
you know what though?
dangerous.
It's just human nature. It's kind of like living at an intersection with no stop signs, right?
Hmm.
You can have accident after accident after accident. You know, the Humboldt, the bus and the truck. Okay. For how many years did that stop sign covered by the bushes? It
Hmm.
took 38 people to die, something like that, in one incident for them to actually come in and cut the tree branches back.
A male is going to hit a woman so hard in the head, it's going to cave her skull, and she's going to have a brain bleed from her brain and die, and then we'll stop it. I hope it doesn't get to that point. Stop it right now. They should either, if they want to box and compete, I'm fine with that. Then you have a trans division, where if you want to go in there
Yeah.
and you want to fight in the trans division and you want to call yourself a woman or a man, whatever you really are, who cares? Fight each other there.
Yeah.
Women cannot fight men. It's too
Well,
dangerous.
here's the thing, man, and you know, you understand this. I get this as well. I mean, I don't. I've never trained to that level, to be completely honest. I've trained hard, but you know what? I've been trained hard for 4 years to live up my dream, only to come in to
And get it
face a
crushed by a
man.
man. That's a
You know what I
joke.
mean? And that's the sad part for me. Like, these athletes work so hard, and a lot of these athletes don't have resources. You know
Shame
what I
on
mean?
that. Shame on those two women. They should have said, "We are not taking this fight." I know what they're saying. Like, they trained hard, they want to win. You're not going to probably be the man. You should have said, "We boycott this." Made us think about it, but they didn't. And then they're complaining after. Well, what did you expect?
I think it's just sad that she has to, like, this Italian girl has is come out the way she is now under the pressure of it all, saying, "I'm sorry."
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And,
because she's
and
being pressured
everyone,
by the left and feeling guilty, and you're gender shaming and all this crap they say, and
it's just
especially
too
kids.
much. It's just too much, man. Honestly,
Through the
like someone.
Olympics, is the Paris Olympics has a stain and an asterisk beside it for mocking religion, and then and letting men fight women. It's a complete joke.
That the whole Last Supper thing really blew me away. I
It's a
was
joke.
just taken
It's
away.
an
I mean,
insult. They
what
did
the
it on
hell?
purpose.
That blue thing, that blue Smurf was supposed to be Jesus?
I guess so. Yeah,
Like,
they're mocking
seriously,
it. Mm.
insane, absolutely insane. All right, brother
Disgraced,
man,
disgraced Olympics.
let's end this on a happy note. Anything happening in this day in boxing history? And
Yes. Nothing's happening in Canadian history, but Tiger's Tale, the book that we keep talking about, still top 10 of the boxing books on Amazon, which is pretty good. This week in boxing history on the American side, the Hawk, Aaron Pryor. That's a great nickname. Two Hawks, Aaron Pryor, Andre the Hawk Dawson. Who's the better Hawk? We don't know. Two different sports. Aaron Pryor became world champion in the fourth round when he stopped Antonio Cervantes to win the WBA junior welterweight title in the one and only Cincinnati, Ohio at Riverfront Coliseum on this week in 1980, 44 years ago.
wow,
Aaron the Hawk
crazy.
Pryor.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, brother man, why don't we wrap it up here? We got
Yep.
stuff to do. It is the weekend. Woohoo! It is hot out here on the West Coast. I don't know what it's like where you guys are listening. But if you are outside, stay cool, sunscreen, do what you got to do. It is the weekend, like we said, a lot of cool stuff happening this weekend. We are in the dog days of summer, the final month before everyone goes back to school. So these weekends mean more here in Vancouver. I don't know if it's Canada wide, but I know for sure here we have a long weekend. So that being said, everyone go out, get smashed, get drunk, do whatever it is that you do to make yourself feel better. Please enjoy yourselves, but just remember, before you get too deep, have a way home. Make sure you're safe. Make sure you're taken home safe to your family. And if you're with your family, make sure you find a ride for all of you. It's important. The last thing anybody wants is to lose you. We don't want to lose you. We want you to come back Tuesday, and we want you to come back every Thursday to Samp and Chance. So yeah, man. I'm Bobby Sampson. He's Chance Michaels.
And in the words of the great ACDC, those that download, like, and subscribe to the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you. And as I will always remind you now going forward, do not do things to justify your life. Do the things that will change your life. And anyone who shits on you, tells you you're doing stupid stuff, or doesn't believe in your passion, they hate themselves. They have no passion. And they're just useless people. Samp and Chance, have a great weekend. We'll see you on Tuesday.